What's going on, everyone? Arda and Glitter here, breaking down day number 1. We are on stage where all the action took place, but now it's the calm before the storm for day number 2. Before we get there, though, we got to talk about what happened today. 6 games in the books, and we have our phones in our hands.
We do.
Because these are the standings, so we're going to reference them.
Yeah.
That's what we're going to do.
I'm going to use your phone with you.
Okay, let's do that. Of course, since Glitter is here, we're going to have to start with Team Rogue. They happen to be in 4th, but that top 5 right now, the point differential, that's pretty tight.
It's minimal. It's minimal. I'm not really concerned. The boys put themselves in a great position at the end of the day today, and I am super excited to see what they can pull down tomorrow.
They had a great day. Not bad at all. You have to be impressed with you have to be happy with definitely the second half of their day.
Right, yeah. We struggled a little bit in the first half of the day. We were having great early game starts, but kind of fell off towards mid and late game. We got third-partied a couple times, had some unfortunate situations happen. They went away for their break. They gathered their thoughts. They came back, and for the second half of the day, we showed up, and they played the way that they always play. I couldn't be more proud. Those
early battles really set the tone. I mean, even look at Gen G. First game, right off the drop, early elimination by Rogue, and they just couldn't get out of first gear for the entire day after that. They're not in last right now, but I mean, as you look at these standings, though, TSM is leading the way right now with 62 points. Tempo Storm, who took the last game, they were fired up.
Literally out of nowhere.
How fired up were they?
That was insane. Are you kidding me? It was just like there was so much going on that you didn't even realize that there was a Tempo Storm person just on the zip line, just hanging out, watching everything else go down in front of him.
Incredible. And did you hear the post-match interview, too? It's like, hey, we're looking forward to winning 6 more in day 2. That confidence is sky high.
I bet they are. But I've got some words for them, okay? There's some other teams that are looking to do the exact same thing.
Yeah, and with the point totals as tight as they are, I'm sure that we're going to see a bonkers day 2. Reciprocity. We had a chance. Yeah, we had a chance to speak to Snipe Down. That interview is also up at YouTube/ESPN Esports. But what an impressive day that they had. They took game number 2. They looked impressive the whole way, and it seems like they're gelling well for a team that really is Snipe Down and 2 guys that he found online.
Super surprising, honestly. I did not see that coming. I'm not going to lie. I don't even think they were on my radar in the slightest, partially because, and Snipe Down will be the first one to admit it, but he doesn't have as much BR experience as a lot of the players up here on stage with us do, and they're a newly formed team. They don't have the same amount of time together, so I wasn't sure what their chemistry level was going to be. I wasn't sure what their synergy was going to be like, and they just decided to show everybody exactly what we were missing out on.
Okay, I want to ask about Lazarus. They're sitting in 10th right now, 31 points, but what was up with that decision-making, particularly in games 4 and 5? They had the high ground in game 4, and they decided to engage, and it cost them.
So I think this is kind of speaking to some of what we had touched on with individual players and some of our other interviews, but there are a lot of teams up here on stage that do not have the same type of LAN experience that some of the other teams do. Lazarus being one of the more inexperienced teams up here out of all the competitors. And I think that in those instances, that's when that inexperience, unfortunately, is starting to shine through a little bit for them. I mean, they really shouldn't have given up their positions in both of those games. They were in great spots, and they just, I don't know if it was panic or if it was just a bad call from the IGL, but it just did not work out for them.
Yeah. Well, what did work out were your predictions on what teams to watch out for in the tournament. And if you don't take it from me, take it from Lauren, because definitely have been mentioning it throughout the interviews, but TSN, T1, definitely leading the charge in terms of what we can see from day number 2. TSM, in particular, in first place right now. How likely is it that they hold on to? Oh, hold on. Let me bask in the glory.
I was just enjoying this. Right. I was just letting this happen because there's still some more points. There's some more points that we haven't touched on that I'm also right about.
Okay.
But I think that specifically TSM mental perspective alone, they're going to be coming in tomorrow riding really high, right? Okay. They're in a very strong position, and as far as they're concerned, what they did today worked. So they're probably going to continue doing that, especially once they worked out the kinks after the first couple games. I think the only thing that they need to prepare for is the potential wild card of every other team that is going to be desperately trying to make up some points tomorrow and could potentially really throw a wrench into everybody's plans by trying out some new drops, some new rotations, or just be way more aggressive than they have been all day today.
Yeah, you're right. We were talking with some of the players, and they even mentioned, if we see a team that is well in the lead going into, say, game 4, 5, or 6, you will see a lot of other teams drop near them just to try and get the elimination early, just to get them off the board so the points can have a little bit more parity as you get into that last game. But now that you've watched these 6 games, Glitter, now that we're going into day number 2, what are some things that you're really looking out for and saying, you know what, I wonder if this strategy is going to change, or I wonder if this tactic is going to change?
I would like to see, and this kind of speaks to what you had said when we were in the studio, I'd like to see if NRG changes anything up.
Yeah.
They really, really struggled today. Not like I really hate being right. It's really hard sometimes.
You can take this segment on your own. It's okay, here you go.
I'm just saying, maybe, potentially, they might end up having to change something up for tomorrow in order to make up for where they are right now. I think they're in 11th. Do we have 11th?
Right now, NRG is in 13th place with 22 points and 16 eliminations, and their average placement is 14 right now.
That's a lot to climb back from, and they're going to have to do something dramatic to do so.
Now, I was watching Dizzy a lot. He was sitting closest to the audience, and you could see him slumped in his chair, just generally unhappy, maybe not impressed with his performance or the performance of his team. Like, his mood was not good throughout the entire day, and I wonder if this was really a wake-up call for Dizzy and NRG, but also I wonder if there's a mental aspect to that. What will it take for them to rally going into game number 2? Like, do they feel like they've already lost going into day 2? And how do you change that? How do you put that positive mental attitude in there?
I think that's really, really hard for the players. I mean, specifically with NRG, I think they came in with a lot of weight on their shoulders. People were expecting them to do well, and sometimes BR just doesn't let that happen. No matter how good you are, the game will just kind of shut you down, and that can be really, really hard to deal with when you're still having to continue playing and be really, really competitive when you're just not in the right mental state to do so. They need to go home, sleep, eat some food, I don't know, meditate, do whatever they have to do to get themselves in a much better place than where they were today.
Possibly change strategies as well. If there's one team that will change strategies is NRG, and we have to say there were a lot of cameras around them as well. Like they had a lot of the attention despite not performing well in day 1. They still had the lion's share of attention, whether it was cameras, whether it's people talking to them. So. All right, well, that's a recap of day number 1. Day number 2, 3 p.m. Central, 4 Eastern. Where can you watch it? Great question. Twitch.tv/ESPN Esports. ESPN app, caffeine.tv/ESPN Esports. You can watch it on Twitter as well, ESPN_Esports. And finally, YouTube.com/ESPN Esports. Are you tired of hearing ESPN Esports
Nailed
yet?
it.
No, you're not. Yeah, I did. Thank you.
Did.
Well, let me bask in my glory. That was wonderful. No script, nothing. You are not tired of hearing ESPN Esports because we are here all weekend. We'll be back with more videos like these, and check out all of our interviews right now. YouTube.com/ESPN Esports. We're the best. See you tomorrow.